In this video, we're going to talk about the scarcity mentality and how to break it, how to get rid of it, and how to stop being so needy, so clingy, so desperate, chasing outcomes, money, people, things, situation in order to feel good, right? When you live in a state of wanting, in a state of lacking, in a state of scarcity, the first thing I want you to realize is that the more you live in that energy, the more you live in that state of consciousness, the more you're gonna invite that in your life. In this video, I talk a lot about life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Your identity is one of the strongest, biggest factor that shapes your reality. So if your identity is saying, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that, I like this, I want that, all you're sending out and all you're receiving in will be an equivalent, because the law of cause and effect says what you send out comes back. So the point of this video is to help you understand that scarcity is a state that is constructed through your perception, through your belief, through your energy, but also through the attention to what you give and the power you give to the things, the people, the situation, the experiences that you feel like needs to happen in order for me to feel a certain way, for me to have the power, for things to work out for me, whatever, right? But ironically, the more you live in that state, the harder you make it for you to get there, right? And in my personal experience, this happened mostly around money, in career, business, work, and in dating relationships, right? And I have so many experiences in my life and working with clients that I can tell you, the more you live in neediness, the more you repel what you want. But the more you live in a state of having, a state of wholeness, a state of completeness, the more you easily attract and align with those things, with those experiences. We've all been in dating or in relationship or in interaction with people where you feel like needy and you want them to like you and you want to go on a date and that type of situation. And the moment you become clingy, the moment you become like that nice guy or nice woman and so on, the more the other person loses interest in you and just doesn't want to have anything to do with you. But the moment you stop caring, the other person all of a sudden like just can't get enough of you. It's that weird concept, that weird paradox. But what I want you to understand is this happens everywhere, because if you go around money, chasing money, idolizing money, thinking that money is going to save you and rescue you, and that the moment you're going to have the money, all your problem will be solved, like that scarcity that a lot of people have associated with money and finances. And I know because I've been there in my business where I was desperate for clients, desperate for money, desperate for a client or something to come and rescue me and save me so I can pay my bill and my rent. And I've been in those situations where life can be really tough. And the more you go into that scarcity, that lacking, that desperate mode, the harder it gets. And so this is why on my channel I also talk about the importance of letting go, detachment, giving yourself what you need first. And this is where this conversation matches perfectly, because the only way to break through the scarcity mentality is to realize that it's a state, meaning it's a belief, meaning it's all in your perception of the thing. So whether it's money, whether it's date, whether it's your job, whether it's a sale, whether it's a presentation, whether it's the next job or an interview or whatever the context may be, this always applies. If you go to an interview or if you go to talk to a prospect or at your job, or you have a presentation to do, and you go with that neediness or that pressure or that anxiety that I need to perform, that they need to like me and I hope they buy me and I hope everything goes well and the board is okay and all of that crap, is going to be not only so like pressuring that it's going to affect you going to the meeting, but also how you present yourself, how you act, how you talk, your energy and your ability to perform to your optimum. But if you go into this situation with a different energy, with reversing that case of scarcity into a state of, whether you want to call it confidence or abundance or wholeness or whatever word you want to call it, the thriving state where you don't need it because you already have it, your energy completely changed. Now all that energy you used to put in desperation, in clinginess, in worry and doubt and so on, now you can use that energy to perform differently, to show up differently, to be congruent and aligned with that thing that you want. And that doesn't mean that you don't experience fear and anxiety and doubt and negative thoughts, right? It's not about perfection or crazy delusion, but it's just that you know deep inside of you that you're confident and that you choose to focus on what you want, Now, all of this happens in your perception. That means that self-control is the name of the game. The only reason why scarcity is so prevalent is because you give power to your attention to your current experiences, right? And then you assign a meaning, you assign a story, and you rehearse that story, and then the mind just goes and you energize it, and it becomes like this massive momentum that you can't get separated from. Now, you have to realize that this is simply a state you used to live in. So the first thing I invite you to do is to notice, where in my life do I experience the most scarcity, right? And to pause and ask yourself, when I'm in that state, what is it that goes on in my mind? What is it that goes on in my body? What are the thoughts, the attitude, the story? What goes on in my mind? Write it down. What are the most limited thought, the most negative thought, the most scary thought that goes on in my mind? When I was in my business and the business wasn't going well and I didn't know where the money was going to come from, my state of mind was not to go and help others because other people need me, because people need help and my services are good and so on, right? No, I was going there because I needed money. I needed clients to survive. And you can see that this is a very different energy. Again, life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. So when you're projecting that neediness, you're gonna get exactly that. More neediness, more example and experiences to reaffirm that state. So the biggest part here is to be able to detach from what is and to embody something greater in your mind. And this is why we are gifted but also cursed as human beings, is because we are all able to rise above our current situation, but it is extremely hard because we give so much power to what is over what could be in our mind. But you see, the moment I realized that I went to my business with the wrong intention, with the wrong energy, and with that neediness, and I started to turn that around, meaning like, you know what, if I was already successful, how would I think about this? Well, I would be like, you know what, clients need me, I don't need them. Doesn't mean I don't want them, it's a very different thing, but they need me, I don't need them. They want to work with me, they want my service, they want my product, they want my my time, my expertise, my coaching, because they need me, because there's a need and I'm very good at it, and they want to work with me and they want to grow, and my service is helping others, it's empowering others, and it's also satisfying me financially, and they're also paying me happily, right? So that state of mind is very different, because it's no longer about chasing or about getting something from them, but it's understanding that they need something that I have and that I can provide and that I can serve and I can offer, and that can be a win-win. And that shift is so critical to make in your mind. And if you've ever been in sales, you know that the more desperate you are, the harder it is to close the sale. But you also know that the more convictions you have in your product, the more certainty you have, the more you're going to control the interaction, and the easier it's going to be to close the sales. And again, that doesn't mean that every sale is successful and that everything only works out for you, right? But it means that at least now you are aligned, you can create, you can perform better, you can give better. That's why with my clients, when we talk about sales, or this concept of like wanting versus having, the biggest things I tell them is that they need to buy themselves first, meaning they need to believe in themselves, in what they have to give, in their visions, in their talents, in their ability, like in their worthiness, in their value, in what they bring to the table, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in their own life, whether it's at work, whether it's, whatever the context may be, everywhere, right? They have to realize that, hey, I'm worth it. Hey, I'm worthy of success. I'm worthy of money. I'm worthy of people loving me, respecting me, talking me well. I'm worthy of going there, expressing myself, putting boundaries, no longer tolerating certain stuff. I'm worthy of personal happiness and freedom, right? There's something in me that is and has always been worthy. And I cannot tell you how many people struggle with putting themselves first to this point where they literally buy themselves first. And this is the first rule of any sale. Whatever service or product you're selling, if you don't believe in the product, you're gonna have a hard time convincing others that this product is something they need, because even you don't think anything about it. Does that make sense? If you don't buy the product, other people will not buy it. So if you don't buy yourself, your own worthiness, your own talents, your own ability, your own deservingness and worthiness of creating the life that you want, then who's going to buy it? And this is the biggest shift when it comes to shifting from scarcity into that state of having and being and thriving is to choose to no longer give power to the money, to those things outside that create scarcity. But you know what? I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to give the power to myself first. And so the shift really happens in your perception about those things. So how do you practically go about this? The first thing you have to realize is, okay, where in my life do I feel the most scarcity? What are the situations, the context? Be very precise. Notice the thoughts, the emotion, where you feel it in your body, the attitude, the state of mind. Be curious about that state. What goes on? You know, is it when you pay money? Is it at your job? Is it when you do sales? Is it when you talk to your manager, with your girlfriend, with, you know, people you date out there? Like, what is it? Where do you experience the scarcity? Become very aware of it. And then start rehearsing. How would I feel differently? How would I act differently if I already have the things that I want? And really become, like, rehearse it, become very familiar with it, become very normal with it. If I was already the person who already has this, the confidence, the ability, the money, the job, the thing, like, if I didn't need a job, how would I go to that interview? And I know it sounds crazy because you feel like maybe, well, but I really need a job. How can I show in an interview like, I don't care, I don't need a job? It's very different. I'm not saying go and bottle it and be rude and be a dick and whatever, right? But go there with the attitude that, you know what, they need me. They want me because of who I am, because of what I can bring. And that's the attitude I want you to have. That's how I want you to learn to think differently. And you're going to need to condition yourself again and again and again, especially if you have a lot of scarcity thoughts in your mind, in your belief. It's going to take time because often it's very deeply rooted. But you can break it. The more you become aware of it, the faster you break the power it has on you. And the more you start to rehearse those new thoughts, the more you start to buy yourself first, the more you see your worthiness, what you bring, and the more you rehearse being the person who naturally has the thing that you want, the faster you realign with a greater life. Because remember, what you need, you repel. What you have, you already attract. Let me know what you think down in the comment. As always, thank you for watching this video. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Be well.